Hey everyone, Tauntaun back to bring you another One Piece tournament match, this time Kid versus Smoker. I won the high roll, so I opted to go second because just mostly to deny him second because smokers do really value the extra card draw, and they also don't really have a meaningful 1 or 2 drop. The version of Kid I'm playing here it's mostly OP1 Kid, just with a few more Wano cards like Oden and Yamato, as you can see right there. I decided I was okay with leaving Momo unprotected here. I don't consider him as valuable as Bonnie. I only run 2 of them just because we don't have as many Wano cards in this deck anyway. We have a few Odins, a few Kikus, a few Izzos, and a few Yamatos. And so I was okay if he just ate up a swing. And it was an added bonus that we managed to get the Odin off of him as well. So we rest the blocker here, and instead of swinging at the blocker, we go at his leader, just because we have 2 goals going into this matchup. First, we want to make it as dangerous as possible for him to drop 10 drop Kuzan, and that the best way of doing that is by lowering his life total. Second is we want to starve him of his resources, because Black's main weakness is his lack of card draw, and so they run out of cards very quickly. And so that just means that every card in the hand is just that much more valuable. And so we're okay if he counters out early as well. And that's why we generally also don't want to swing large against Smoker. We just want smaller hits going even and giving him the option to expend the cards in his hand to counter out, since that is what we do want. And again, same thing here. We're just gonna rest the Kuza and just start swinging at him. Just make him use up cards to protect him, because 4-drop Kuzan is a priority target that he wants to keep alive. I did get pretty fortunate drawing my Yamatos this early. I do think it's a very good card in this matchup, just because Smoker players like to protect their cards like 4-cost Kuzan by leaving them active until it's time to use them. It's also a great card into Borsalino, another annoying sticky blocker that can only be KO'd by actually swinging into them. So here, unfortunately, I wasn't able to protect the Yamato because I believe I didn't actually have the counter to do so. And so with coupled with the Kobe, he was able to just clear my board like that. I think at this point I had a couple of Odins and a couple of 7-drop kids in my hand. And so I knew that if I managed to weather through this mid game without being too far behind, I'd have a decent chance in the late game, even though this is a control heavy late game deck like Smoker. And because his board is just a single Kuzan and a Kobe, it wasn't super threatening, so this is probably the best time to drop Oden here. And Oden just provides massive amounts of pressure, which is the best thing you can do against a Smoker. He's developing his board pretty nicely as well. He drops a 4-cost Borsalino, and he drops the 4-cost Kuzan here, keeping pace with the Oden I dropped the previous turn, and sets him up for future turns as well. Here we're going to play Yamato just to prepare ourselves to swing into Kuzan. And because we have withered his hand size down to 3, he's either not going to have enough counters to protect this Kuzan from all of our attacks, or he's going to use up too many cards to protect this Kuzan. And we're happy with either result at this point. And so first, we're going to do what we've always been doing. We're just going to swing with 5 first. And he is likely not going to block with Borsalino here, just because it exposes Borsellino to an Oden swing as well. And ultimately, he wouldn't be able to protect Kuzan anyways, just because there is an Oden on the board. And because of Oden's double swing, it also does mean that he likely wouldn't be able to protect his Borsellino either. And so the correct play here was to just let the Kuzan go. And then we're going to just block her up here to protect our board. And now we're beginning to reach a turning point where Oden just represents the largest threat on the board, and he is beginning to show his value. He's gonna drop Helmeppo and Sakazuki to knock out Oden, but the good thing about Oden is that even when you KO him, he does bring out an Okiku, and an Izzo if you really wanted to as well. He swings 5k with Kuzan into leader here, and he just subtracts 4 costs onto beige, just picking a random target there. And even though we don't get value out of it, we use Punk Gibson now to guarantee a rest on his Borsellino, since my plan next turn was to clear out his board and play an Oden as well as a beige. We didn't have the Dawn to spend on Okiku resting Borsellino. And so he leaves 2 active Dawn up, and he does have 1 card in hand, so we do have to respect that it may be a Shockwave. And even though it is a Shockwave, it should be fine because he only has 1 card in hand, and he has 2 targets we're trying to get rid of while we have 3 attacks. So first we're going to swing with Okiku first, so we can't just Shockwave it away. Okay, and then we swing into Borsellino. And he does trigger Shockwave here, and he does knock out the Okiku, but that's fine because we already got the swing out of her. And then we just swing neutral into Borsellino, which is a guaranteed hit since he has no cards in hand. And then with the remaining Dawn, we do exactly what we set out to do. We play the Oden and drop another blocker here. Now we're going to take advantage of our card advantage to help maintain board control by aggressively defending our Yamato here. We're just going to counter out his attacks and then use the blockers when necessary just to maintain a strong, healthy board. Because he is out of resources, and so whatever he has on the board is most likely all he's going to have left. And any other characters will just slowly trickle in at a manageable pace at this point. So the game plan here now is to just clear his board. There's no reason to just rush into his leader. If we just clear out his board, he's out of resources, he's going to be wide open in the following turns. And because he only has 1 card in hand, the math becomes really easy. As long as we swing with a 2k power advantage into each of his cards, it'll be mathematically impossible for him to defend them. Of course, that is assuming he is just bluffing with that 2 active Dawn and he doesn't have a Shockwave or any other event in hand. But at this point, we can afford to get a little bit greedy. And that's exactly what we do here. Just opening him wide open. And because black has no rushers, we're not in any danger of dying soon. And just to press our advantage further, I'm just gonna replay another set of Oden and beige. I'm not sure if you guys noticed, I've played like I think the same 4 or 5 cards over and over again in this game, just because that's all I drew. And here you can tell that he is desperate and just goes for a large swing at Oden, even though I have a blocker on the board here. Personally, I think I would have just, rather than keeping the card in my hand as a potential counter, I would rather just play it and just develop some sort of board, because the extra counter might delay you, maybe save you another turn, but you're not really playing to win, you're kind of just playing not to lose. And that doesn't really give you a potential win condition or an out down the road. And so we've cleared his board. He's at 0 life, and just for good measure, we're just gonna drop down a 7 cost kid too. And at this point, he realizes that he's in an unwinnable position and he just concedes. Well, that's it for me, everyone. I hope you all enjoy your ride on the Oden Express. You guys know the drill. If you have any questions or comments, just leave them down below. Please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. And until next time, I'll talk to you guys later.